Made it. Didn't think I was going to make it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Greet the Week. I'm Jan Moray, and here with my co-host, Mona Duncan. And today we're going to be talking about baby steps to success. So, Mona, take it away. What do we going to need to know about baby steps?
Well, I mean, you're familiar with the saying that the longest journey begins with a single step.
Right.
And sometimes we start those journeys, but we don't keep on going because it seems like it's just too long and too many. You're not making the journey fast enough.
We don't
seems
have
like an unattainable quest.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even start because it seems a little bit unrealistic. But the thing of it is that at least just start it. Just begin to start, and then keep putting one foot in front of the other so that there will be success. Maybe not as originally planned, but life being life, it has a tendency to bring something that is memorial about it, something that we can learn from it, even if it's not the way we had intended it to be. Something good, something realistic, something manageable. Life has that wonderful way of working through and working things out. Of course, this is not to diminish the pain of separation. It's not to diminish the fact that people are out of jobs. It's not to diminish any of that because there are difficulties there. It's to look and see that we can have hope, that we can realize that there is a destination and make some journeys there. So I think of John Maxwell, who was a pastor and a public speaker, and he talks about people changing. And he gave three qualifiers there. He says, people change only when they hurt enough they have to. And my life personally, working with prisoners and the at-risk community, I have worked with a lot of people something's got to give. I have to change. I absolutely have to change. And so John Maxwell says we won't change unless we have to. The second qualifier is we won't change until we receive enough information that we can change, or that we begin to see a way that, that maybe is doable. And then the third qualifier was experiencing enough that it's like, yeah, I like this. I actually want to do it. Not just I have to,
Right.
Not that I'll try what you're saying, but beginning to realize how I can actually begin to do this. So I thought we would, I have 8 little baby steps here.
Okay.
That may seem like, it's not going anywhere. It's just thinking about it. But yet how important it is to begin to look at those increments.
Yeah. You mentioned hope a couple of minutes ago, and I think that is so important too. As we
mentioned what?
Hope.
Hope.
Because if we don't have any hope, then it's like, what's the use? But if I've got hope that I'm going to be able to reach this goal or go wherever I'm going to go, that helps to become a motivator to keep us going.
Exactly. And in using that word hope, I want to put a faith-filled hope. Faith. What are the qualifiers of faith? What is it? It's looking forward to something that hasn't happened yet, but hoping that and thinking that maybe I really can. What if I could? And maybe I can. And that is that desire, knowing what you want, and then the expectations that, this is what I want. And so maybe if I get a muscle strong enough, I can actually do it. And that right there is what produces faith. And that faith gives us the hope that we can keep on keeping on.
They work together.
Yes, they definitely do. As a matter of fact, I made a little poster for myself. I do that frequently to kind of help me to something that really impacts me, and I want to keep remembering it so it can impact again and again until it becomes a part of who I am. And I have a little note that I have here that it says, never think a thought that is not faith-filled.
Okay.
Don't ever dwell on it. Don't ever dwell on that.
Yeah.
So, looking at the 8 little baby steps that I've come up with just for today, one is to remember that monkey see, monkey do. And that, supposedly that there were these monkeys and there's this little community. And one of them, for some reason, just being an animal, took his food or her food down to the river and washed it before eating it. And it wasn't long until all the monkeys in the tribe began to do the same thing. But the thing of it is that thousands of miles away, another monkey did the same thing. And then eventually that tribe began to do the same thing. And then, again, all around. And it's like, well, how can that be? That we begin to see things, we begin to think things. But the thing of it is, there's only so much air in this whole universe, and we all breathe the same air. Some may be a little fresher than others. But we are so connected that our thoughts, or whenever that thought comes that needs to be, like wash your food before you eat, and wash your hands before you, touch something. Once that thought is sprinkled into the universe, it's caught here, and it's caught there, and it's caught somewhere else. And we need to embrace it. And then as we embrace it, others will say, hey, that looks like an odd thing to do, but hey, let me try it and see if it works for me too. So it is looking at the fact that we have these inspirations that come to us, and be okay with them. Begin to explore it, begin to see if this is something that would really work for me. And then as you begin to see others kind of following suit, begin to realize that. Or maybe as another that I have further on down, but I'll go ahead and bring it up now, is to have a good role model. Mm-hmm. If you're going through an experience and you don't really know how to do it, and you think of someone else that had already gone through something like that and has come out victorious, that has come out hope-filled.
Yeah.
Begin to look at that and begin to see
someone who has succeeded in what you were doing. So that gives you more confidence. Yeah.
Right. As you can begin to, whether it's someone that you know personally, or whether it's someone that, a TED Talk you've heard, or someone a book that you've read, that good role model, it's realizing that, doesn't mean that they're the perfect person, that there's everything that agree with everything they go, but what if they've been a good role model? Then how can I follow suit and be like that monkey that's monkey see, monkey do? Yeah. So, and then getting that good role model and thinking about it, and then modifying to fit you and your personality. But then also think about what you think about. The small step, to think about what you think about. Thoughts do become things.
Yes, they do.
Thoughts become, they become moods. They become attitudes.
Yes.
They become actions. They become motivators. Thoughts become demotivators. So think about what you think about. You say, well, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not, nothing's happening. Well, the thoughts, the inside here is where the change takes place. It's where the overcoming takes place. So it's thinking about what you think about.
That reminds me of something I was just reading yesterday, the day before, amidst all the coronavirus going on right now. There's a neighborhood discussion thing, and somebody posted in there, that they were reading someplace about the government saying, they have hope that we're going to get through this and all this kind of stuff. And this woman was pointing out all the negatives that were going on, and how can I have hope? And I'm like, you're just looking at it the wrong way. It's that if you have hope, then it'll help you through. You will find the things that are going well, and you'll pull through better and faster. Whereas if you're looking at all the negatives, it's continuing to pull you down, and you may miss something positive that's going on. And I mean, I thought about that. Thoughts become things. If I really want this to turn out well, I want to have and that's where I got all that hope thing. Earlier, is if I have hope to start off with, my hope is going to materialize, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to get through this. But if I think it's all gloom and doom, and it's going to be a more difficult struggle. You have to take a lot more steps.
Exactly, which kind of takes me on down to point number 3, which is to appreciate what you do have.
Right, yeah.
Rather than what I don't
Yeah.
have, it's appreciating
Yeah.
what you do have. That anything that appreciates goes up in value.
Mhm.
And as we begin to appreciate who we are, what we can do, what others can do, that there's always someone there that's ready to help. If we are open to receiving help, we will be able to find it, whether
Yes.
it's through, a Zoom contact or
Right.
something that you've read or a thought that comes. There's always that feedback coming into us. And so to appreciate what you do have, that, like our scales, that we're always right here in our frontal cortex. We have this thing that, I have ever seen that before? Did I like it? Did I not like it? Ever, that kind of stuff that brings back for our recall. And so our scales, Dr. Glasser referred them to, the fact that we have scales internally, that is looking at what we do have and what we're wanting, and that whenever they don't match, that there's some kind of a frustration there, a lack of hope, a lack of whatever. And so we are motivated then to do something, or maybe to become so frustrated that we just don't do anything. And well, what is that? And how does that work for you?
Yeah.
But whenever we begin to look at, well, this is what I have, and this is what I have, that this is what I'm wanting, and this is what I have, it can really take us down.
Yes.
And as we begin to focus on, instead of, looking here, can you see what I'm looking at? This is what I want. Can you see that?
Yes.
And this is what I have. So if I'm focusing on what I have, rather than appreciating what I have, if I begin to focus on it and say, you know what, I'm thankful that even though it's more baked potatoes tonight, I'm thankful that we have enough baked
Yeah, we have
potatoes to
potatoes.
still have more baked potatoes tonight. So because this is what I have, it is, I hate to use the word magical, but it is a mystery. How that we begin to appreciate once we appreciate what we do have, we begin to realize that, what, maybe I have more of what I'm wanting than I'm willing to admit.
Yeah.
It's
start
that
to
as
see
we
it from
appreciate what we do have.
Right.
I mean, it may be a clunker, but it gets me from point A to point B. And that's not to say that I don't want a nicer vehicle or a Lincoln or a whatever. It's not to say that. But that is, I appreciate what I have right here, right now. There's just, and focus on that, and keeping it oiled or keeping it fine-tuned so that it will get me from point A to point B. That as I begin to focus on what I do have and appreciate it, that appreciation begins to bring into the leveling off of, well, so I don't have that big deal. How many times have you wanted something and when you got it, it's like cotton candy?
Oh, I know, it's not as big as
fulfilling.
Right. It doesn't mean as much. The anticipation, excitement about getting it, but then once you get it, it's kind of a letdown. That's one thing that I keep reminding myself when I want something really badly. It's like, okay, how are you going to feel about it once you get it? Is it really that important that you're going to still be excited when you get it? Because that emotion, I mean, we are so triggered by emotions. Something we feel a certain way, and we think we just have to do something about it right then. But it's like, let's stop and think and appreciate what we have.
Right.
And I really need that.
Yeah, I had a gentleman one time in one of my classes, and anyway, he was kind of downtrodden and he needed something to give him hope or whatever. And anyway, he found a vehicle, and he bought that vehicle. But and he was big man on campus for a while. I mean, he was taking people out, let's go for a spin. I'll let you drive my truck and all this kind of stuff. And it was really a great ride. It was wonderful. But you know what? After a while, everybody had taken a ride in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal that he had the newest vehicle on the lot and so forth. And he began to look at the fact that his finances was way depleted because of that. And once we can realize that someone or something is not the answer, it is not the answer. I was working with a guy not too long ago, and he says, one thing I've come to a conclusion is that a woman is not the answer. And I just applauded him, literally applauded him. Said, that is a great thing forward. You're right. A woman is not the answer, or a man is not the answer. You know, it is not any one thing, because it can be a contributing to factor. You know, people, can anyone make you happy? No, they can't. Can they contribute to your happiness? Yeah. Can they contribute to your unhappiness?
It goes back to your gratitude thing, you know, being happy with what you have and being grateful for what you have already. You think you need that new thing over there. This one thing's going to change things, but you know, you've got the power right now inside you to do so much.
Yeah, and to think about, you know, what this is whatever it is that I have. Your thoughts really do, because we create our own perception. Yeah, and if we see it as not being worth anything, then to us it's not worth anything. If we see it as having worth and value, then it begins to take on having worth and value. So it's realizing that, appreciating what you do have, get a good role model, and then realizing that it's okay to play like. It's okay to play like. Have you ever played like?
Well,
I'm going to play like I'm going to have a good day today. I'm going to play like this is going to be a fun.
Like fake it till you make it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fake it till you make it. And the thing of it is the more play you put into it, the more joyful it becomes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed the word. The more what you put into it?
Play?
Yeah, it has a whole lot to do with what you put into it. What you put into it is what you're going to give out of it, or what get out of it.
I missed one
but
word.
The thing of it is we have to give before we can receive.
I'm still confused. I missed one word. The more something you put into it. What was that something you put into it?
I believe it was play.
Play?
Yeah.
P-L-A-Y?
Play, P-L-A-Y.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as it's okay to play like. It's okay to act like. It's okay to it's okay to be that. It's okay. We've been looking at the fact of, you know, looking at a good role model. But if you see that good role model, it's okay to take on that characteristic. It's okay to take on that attitude. Even though it says, well, I'm just being a fake here. Like Jan said, it's to fake it till you make it. It's beginning to realize that, well, maybe if I did take on that persona, maybe if I did take on that fact that things will be okay. Be okay.
Yeah.
I was talking with a person the other day and said, you know, there was someone that was with them that, well, the one person that I was talking with was discounting all of the difficulties that's going on in life and in a relationship and in sickness and that kind of stuff. And they were saying, but I think they want me to just say that everything's going to be okay. And I said, well, everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean there won't be tears. It doesn't mean there won't be sorrow. It doesn't mean that we're instantly, that it will be okay.
Yeah.
And as we can know that internally and in our being and in our thoughts and in our attitude, it will be okay.
And to think of the troubles that you run into, they make you stronger. I mean, yes, they're a nuisance and they're uncomfortable and they're frustrating and they're difficult to get through. But once you do get on the other side, you will be a much better person for it, a stronger person, and know that you did it, and you'll be proud of yourself for doing it and persevering and making it through.
Yeah. And another baby step is that practice makes permanent.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, makes permanent. Practice makes permanent.
Thank you.
You know?
Because what is perfect?
Yeah. And what is perfect? Well, if we're practicing it incorrectly, then it's still making it permanent. It's just not bringing all those benefits. And so as we begin to practice that, it may not feel real right now, and it may not seem okay, but we have to let okay be okay. You know, and sometimes I've had someone tell me something one time, they said, well, everything is okay. And then I said, well, will you please let it be okay?
Mm.
Because it goes back to the way we perceive something. If we're still perceiving it that it's not okay and that it's not going to be okay, then guess what? We're still in turmoil.
Yeah.
And we're contributing to other people's turmoil.
Right. Right.
Until we can get to the point of ourselves that, you know what? I'm really sorry, and I feel for you. I have compassion for you, that you are agitated, that you're not okay, that you are. But that's not going. It's not going to roil up my life. I'm not going to allow it to happen, because we can't. We can keep the peace. We are the peacekeepers within ourselves, but we have to choose it, and we have to let ourselves know that we are choosing it. I had a guy one time that, well, when I worked with the prison system and I taught the classes, they had to come to my class for 10 weeks. And then, after the 10 weeks, hopefully there was, anyway, so this one guy, but after I was in the classroom, and it was their rec room. So after the class was over with, people would come in and so that, but what I did was I wrote on the board. I would, had these 4 whiteboards in different places in the facility, and I would write things on there, quotes from people. I figured if it helped me, it might help someone else too. And so anyway, it was after class, and this guy came in, and he was talking to me and was asking me questions, and we were just chit-chatting. And I made the comment to him, I says, well, you certainly seem at ease. He said, yeah, I am. And he said, I came to these classes of yours for 10 weeks. I was so glad to get out of here. So he got so tired of hearing about how that you could change your mind and it was your choice and blah, blah, blah. He said, and then when I finally graduated, it was my 10th one, he said, you gave me that stupid letter, which I did. Everyone that was in there, I gave them some kind of, a personal letter. And he said, you gave me that stupid letter and you repeated the same thing in there about the choices I was making and could make and all this kind of stuff. He said, and I just decided that I was going to prove you wrong.
Uh-oh.
I said, so, and I said, is that why you're at ease tonight? And he kind of laughed. He said, yeah, I guess it is. He said, I said, so you didn't prove me wrong. You proved yourself right, that you really can choose your destiny. You really can choose your attitude. You really can choose what you'll think. You really can choose for things to be okay, even if they're not all okay. You really can. And if that isn't empowering, what is it?
Yeah.
It's real empowering.
Yeah.
But we have to allow ourselves to think enough about ourselves, not that overinflated ego that I deserve all this. That can be one of the most descriptive thing about what I deserve. I deserve this, I deserve that. Well, where's it written that you deserve anything?
Right. I know.
But maybe we can earn it. And we earn it through what we do, through the way we see things, through the way we treat others, through the thoughts we think. That's how we earn our way in life, by cooperating.
Yeah, I mean, that's another attitude to have, is that you're not entitled to anything. You
Right.
have to earn whatever you're getting, and the progress you're making, baby step by baby step. And nobody's going to keep anything from you as long as you're putting in the effort. I mean, that's one of the things that we've had a number of discussions in my house the last few days about, doing your part instead of just expecting others to do things for you. You got to meet them part way. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but at least that you're putting in some effort to take care of yourself, or to be worthwhile, or to have a meaning in life and stuff. You have to put some kind of effort into it. You just can't expect it to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to go my way because I'm cute. Well, You know,
I know. That works for a while.
There's no guarantee. And that's not discounting the fact that you're not cute. You really are special. You're just not that special. And whenever we realize that you know, that we can see things differently and still be okay.
Yeah.
And still be okay. And so then another point that I have on here, I don't know if I'm going 1, 2, 3 or what, with 2 more, is to don't edge out goodness. You know, just begin to see that somebody else may have some qualities there also,
Or to look for them. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
to
always that
look
little
for
nugget in there. What is it? The diamond in the rough. There's some diamond somewhere. It maybe have a really crusty, ugly looking exterior, but there's some goodness in there somewhere.
yeah, look for it. And then pass on your wisdom. You know, don't pass on your negativity, only pass on your wisdom. Only pass on what is possible. Only pass on what is like. And the thing of it is that our body knows the difference. We may be thinking these negative thoughts, and you know what? Your body knows it. And so it's
Mhm.
gonna get tense and tight and argumentative and all kinds of stuff if we let it, if we allow it to do that. But we have to be aware of it, that, you know what, this is because our body is a good master in that it's going to respond in a way to try to protect us. But once we become aware of that, oh, I'm getting real tense over this, then we can give our body we can give our mind, we can give our heart, we can give our whole being the permission to not be like that.
Yeah.
We can give ourselves permission to take control by speaking smoothly as opposed to harshly, as to not making a situation worse. If I can't make it better, let me at least not make it worse.
Right.
And sometimes I don't have anything to contribute. And so, excuse me, but I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I know one time I was in a class, I was talking about getting along with people, and that we always had this option of not arguing. Even though we may have a very vital, but we have that option of not. And this guy kept coming back. And I said, you know what? I see you as being so intelligent. But I'm telling you, I'm not going there because
Right.
I sense an argumentative spirit, and I am not going there.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
It's okay to say that. I mean, somebody may start saying things and you violently disagree with what they have to say, but it doesn't mean that you have to get into a discussion. It's like, no, I really don't want to ruin this the way we are right now because it can. And we're just not gonna do there. Let's talk about something else. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. So, I thought I would end it with the fact of again, back when I was working with the prisoners, and it was a meal time, and I was anyway, these couple of guys came up to me and they were harassing me.
No.
And I said, you know, what's going on with you? And they was talking about a couple of things that had been going on within the facility itself. And they said, well, how come you're always so positive? And I said, well, you know, we kind of act on our beliefs. We have to believe something. And I really believe that I cannot heal until you heal, and that you cannot heal until I heal. And you know what? I want to heal. And therefore, I want to help you heal, whoever you is. And I want to open up give that leeway there. that little bit of encouragement to do something specific today that's going to make me a better person than I was even an hour ago. To think some thoughts specifically today that will make me more kind and more and gentle. You know, what's wrong with gentle? Gentle really is more powerful than power.
Yes, it is.
It is, it is, it is, it is. And having faith, that little bit of faith is so, well, it's not anything. It's wanting something that isn't there yet. But that faith is looking forward to the fact that it can be there, that seed will grow, that it will strengthen, that it will produce fruit, that it will be a positive outcome.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Right. And then, of course, you know, begin to visualize it, begin to see it, because once we can begin to see something, then we can begin to mimic it. We can begin to become it. And so it's realizing that the more we heal, and the more that we look at the things that are going wrong in our life, I mean, maybe that you're a pain in the neck, you're a pain in the stomach, you're a pain in it, but it's my stomach that's hurting. Okay? Right. Now, I may be accusing you as that being that pain, but as I get honest with me, and how can I not see that, or how can I see their pain in a way that I have compassion for instead of anger toward? Mm-hmm. And that as I can have compassion for your whatevers, maybe that will give a little dose of love and kindness that you can smell or breathe in or digest, that can heal your discomforts also.
Yeah, so that's a good note to end on. We're out of time. It's just to take little steps, one at a time, and bring in some of these values and other things that you've talked about today, and have hope and believe in it, and you'll get there. And have patience. That it's not going to happen tomorrow, but you'll get there eventually. So.
And with patience, let me just go with one more thing, and then we'll just close out. Is when I was learning patience and, you know, visualizing and thinking and all this kind of stuff, and be patient, be patient, be patient. And boy, I had it down to a fine art, meaning that I could be patient, that, you know, I could draw in that breath or release a breath or, okay, Kitty. I was patient. I was rolling my eyes or whatever. I was not attacking back. Let me put it that way. Okay. But it was very obvious that I was ready to attack back. And then in reading the scriptures, which I find to be very helpful and very wise and a lot of wisdom, and it was talking about patience and what it is and what love is. And it said, love is patient and is kind. And it was like, oh, give me a break. Surely you jest.
Patience and what?
And is kind.
Kind.
It's patient, but it's kind. And I'm thinking, oh, you know, give me a break. Surely you jest. I can be patient. I can bite my tongue and not say, I cannot attack back. But be kind in the process of not attacking back. And yeah, we can. So think about it.
Yes, we can. So thanks, Mona. Thanks for our guests. And thanks for you who are watching on the replay. And we'll be here again next week for another edition of Greet the Week.